Hey everyone, this is David Brown with the migration update for March 23rd, 2023 from the Braddock Bay Hawk Watch. Today was overcast with periods of rain. The wind started out light from the southwest and then in the afternoon shifted west and then west-northwest and became moderate. I started out at the Braddock Bay East Spit this morning where I had my first belted kingfisher of the season. And here's the same kingfisher with the wings down. Over at the hawk platform, I had this sharp-shinned hawk fly in and perch in a tree. And here's the sharp-shinned hawk flying away. And notice that from some angles and postures, that sharp-shinned hawk wingtips can look quite pointed, similar to what you might see on a kestrel. But when you see them from a different angle, you would notice that they're really more rounded. And since sharp-shinned hawks are accipiters, they have long tails. And sharp-shins usually have rather squared-off tail tips. Their heads also tend to look smaller than the heads of Cooper's hawks, and their eyeballs look big compared to the head, so they kind of have a cute eye, just because it looks oversized compared to the Cooper's hawk, where the eye looks a little smaller and the face looks a little bit more fierce. Rain shut the flight down for about 2.5 hours, so I had come home and ate lunch, and then I went back out, and it was starting to clear up a little bit. And the winds had shifted westerly and picked up a little bit, and we got a decent push of turkey vultures, a couple dozen, as well as a small number of bald eagles and northern harriers. This is a turkey vulture coming overhead, and even in the poor lighting, you can see they have that two-toned look, a lot of black throughout the body, and the front of the wings, and then the actual flight feathers of the wings themselves are a little bit lighter in color. And you can see how small the head is on turkey vultures. They can almost look headless at times. This immature great black-backed gull was fun to watch. It had something in its bill, some kind of food maybe, and it was flying with it, and it would kind of hover, and then it would drop it and drop straight down and catch it before it hit the water. Then it would fly back up and do it again. We must have watched it drop it and catch it about 10 times. And at one point, a herring gull came up and was trying to steal whatever it was. But the great black-backed gull got away, and eventually the herring gull gave up. And here's one of my favorite moments from the day. It's a flock of 7 migrating great blue herons. Looking at the eBird lists for today, in the morning I had 46 species at Braddock Bay Park, and in the afternoon I had 47 species. Looking at hawk count for our migrant raptor totals, today we had 34 turkey vultures, 2 bald eagles, 9 northern harriers, 1 sharp-shinned hawk, and 1 merlin, for a total of 47 migrants. There were 4 new species for the season, which were belted kingfisher and winter wren from the East Spit, and blue-winged teal and Bonaparte's gull from the Hawk Watch. And looking at the forecast for tomorrow, it's looking mostly cloudy with a high in the upper 30s, light northwesterly winds, so it's not a super favorable wind direction, but when it's that light, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. I would still expect some migration to be happening. If we get a strong northwest wind, that can slow things down, but 5 to 10 is really light. The main concern would just be if it's too dark and gloomy and not much wind. Sometimes that doesn't give much lift for the raptors, so sometimes it takes a little longer for things to get going. But I think once we get into the mid part of the day, and then especially in the afternoon, looks like there might be a little bit of sunshine. I wouldn't be surprised to see a fair amount of migration. So tomorrow's looking like one of the better days coming up, but we don't have a favorable southerly wind to get a really big day, but should be a pleasant day to be out with those light winds, and hopefully we'll get some more new songbirds. For Saturday, windy with rain early and then cloudy with showers. High in the low 50s, but winds are going to be southeast at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Chance of rain 100%. So those southeast winds, even though it has a southerly component to it, they're a lot less favorable for us than the southwest winds. A southeast wind is a direct headwind for the birds. 20 to 30 miles an hour is just super strong. Combine that with the rain, I would say Saturday is not looking like a good day. And for Sunday, it's looking windy, mostly cloudy and then partly cloudy with a high in the mid 40s. And strong westerly winds. So we went from strong easterly winds to strong westerly, 25 to 35 miles per hour. Again, it's an okay wind direction, but just overly strong. So would expect some amount of migration, maybe some turkey vultures pushing through, but overall those winds are just too strong. makes it uncomfortable, we'll probably either be watching from the car or hiding behind the Hawkwatch platform. And looking even farther ahead, there's not really any great days standing out over the next week or 10 days, but we'll keep an eye on the forecast and see if that changes. But for the next few days, things should just be a little bit slower. Hopefully we'll continue to get some new songbirds. There's still a great variety of ducks out on the bay, more grebes showing up, seeing a lot more of things like killdeer and great blue herons. So there's still a fair amount of migration going on, even though it might be slow for raptors for the next little bit. But next time we have southerly winds, we should be coming right into the peak of the turkey vulture migration. So we should have some pretty big days coming up the next time we have southwest winds. From Lyco Birds, this is David Brown. Thanks for watching.